on with y'all? Pray everyone is having a good day and good spirits and end with good spirits. I'm just out here playing around with the hand pan, channeling, doing a little vibing. Feels good out here. Hope it feels good where you're at. You got two little downloads I'm going to drop off. I like to drop off a message while I'm on here. Make every minute count. So, download. The people who won't tolerate the negative version of you, they are the ones that you want to lean to. And Spirit gave me that version because too often when we get in a position where we really doing wrong, we look for the yes men. We look for the people that's going to encourage us. We kind of stay away from the people that's going to frown on that version of us, right? Well, Spirit says if you're serious about elevation and you're serious about your growth and your development, you will begin to lean to the people that won't accept that version of you. Y'all know it's hard sometimes, you know. Sometimes when you go astray or you deviate or you relapse or, you know, all of that is in the energy. Maybe you have a tendency to pull away from the people who won't accept that version of you, right? And maybe you go towards the people that'll pamper you and, you know, pacify you maybe. Well, Spirit says that's not really a good thing to do. When you're serious about growing, you want to get around the people that's going to be least tolerant of the version of you that you're trying to get away from. Okay? Cool download. Number 2, you have to heal to release the pain. I made a song called Heal to Release the Pain, right? It's like you got to heal to release the pain. The death card mean the reaper came. It's like the end of an old start, the start of a new beginning. We good at losing, but we knew at winning. You know, well, you know, I ain't gonna really say the whole song, but in that song, I'm speaking about trying to get to another level, but not, you know, having to come to the realization that in order for me to really heal, I gotta begin to let go of the pain. And sometimes we hide the pain behind our ego, y'all, you know. Sometimes to truly let the pain die, you got to have an ego death. You got to begin to look at yourself, be able to detach away from yourself and see yourself, you know, all of the low vibrational aspects of yourself. I know we all like to be high vibrational. We like to talk high vibrational talk. We do. You know, it's good. It's healthy. But the reality of life is that, you know, you got to look at all aspects of yourself. And the low vibrational aspects, once you begin to embrace them and accept them, you know, you can let your ego die because you can, you know, it's something about an ego death that's very good for the soul. You know, it allows you to look at things and be like, well, maybe I was wrong, or I'm not the shit I thought I was, or, you know, it allows you to truly find humility. I ain't gonna lie. So heal to release the pain. Like, give yourself time to heal. Maybe stop going in and out of different relationships in life and bringing the same old energy underneath of the surface. You know, that's what we do. We sometimes we jump from one relationship to another relationship and we expect everything to be different, right? But, you know, the law of magnetism, it says that opposites attract and likeness repel. That's true. As humans, right? I want you, and I'm speaking for those of us that's been hurt. I'm gonna show you how opposites truly attract and then likeness repel. You know how you jump out of a relationship because you was hurt. You know, a person hurt you, maybe a spirit. Maybe you going to war with a spirit. So you go into another relationship. But what attracts you to the person is that they appear different, right? They appear opposite to you, right? They appear to you to be opposite. They don't look like what you running from. They don't look like what hurt you. That's what's attracting you to them. And you the same way, because see, you got pain beneath the surface behind your ego. So what you show a person when you attracting them, before you heal now, you show them a facade or an illusion, right? So you're gonna attract most likely a person that's in the same energy. But you see how those opposites are attracting? Well, the likeness will repel, because once you get together and then the mask comes off, and then two people realize, man, they not much different than what hurt me, or maybe even the same. That's when the likeness it begins to repel. So you gotta, it's kind of like you gotta do a reversal on your energetic perspective. A good way to do it, Spirit says, thank you, Spirit, is to say, I'm not going to go out here and try to choose a person. I'm going to fall into working on myself, being disciplined, and I'm going to trust in God to line this year universe up in the right way where I'm going to come into contact. That's how you manifest it properly. See, a lot of people, we be thinking that we manifesting a person, but we really manifesting the same old energy that got us down from the jump, because we got to fix us. We got to heal to release the pain. Okay. Number 3, your past does not have authority over your future. People will use things from your past to create an energy that will block your future. It may work on some people, but what the devil meant for bad works out for the good to the ones that love God and are called according to his purpose. So basically, this is for somebody. Your past is running you down, right? It's in your mind. You just can't let go of the old version of you. Maybe it's leading you back to doing things you want to be done with, right? First, I want you to understand in the download, your past, it doesn't have authority over your future unless you give it to you, unless you give your past that authority, right? Let's say you was a criminal, a venal, a robber, or whatever. You were a baneful person. You were dark with your energy. Okay, that's your past. So when you start on your new future, you change your energy around. You clear karma out. You go through all of the necessary steps. Dark night of the soul, hermit, all the energy. Everybody familiar with it. Well, once you go through that, right, now you are now doing a quantum shift into the future you know, or, you know, it could be you also going to the past version of you. Either way, it's a quantum shift in your energy. It alters your future. Your past, it doesn't have authority over your future. So what people going to do, right, they're going to try to create a narrative from your past. You got to expect that. The only way that that narrative really works is if you begin to respond to it. Then you take yourself out of your future into your past energy. See how that works? Everything is energy. Meaning, what am I saying? Okay, so if they down on a lower frequency and they gossiping about you and they starting rumors about you, right? On this your frequency down here, right? If you want a frequency up here, it will not reach you. Even if they send it out in the world and people agree with it, I promise you, God gonna have enough strong people, because everything will balance out. The rumor they push is going to people that's going to be in your future energy standing with you, and they're going to be spiritually, they'll be like, nah, it won't fly. Now, what happens to us is we up here on this frequency in our future energy. The lies, the gossip, the deception, the rumors, the narratives, all of that is down on this frequency. So they get the buzzing real hard, and what we do, we want to jump out of this frequency and go respond to what was said on social media, or so-and-so told you that they were saying this about you. So you want to come out of your future energy and respond. Well, it puts you right back in your past, and it's giving your past authority over your future. When you do that, you got to keep moving. You know the song High Priestess say, you gotta keep going. It's gonna be alright. You gotta keep going. God's right by your side, right? Really like that, y'all. Like this year thing is this a battle for your life, right? You this thing that you involved in, it's a life or death balance. Maybe you see it and maybe you don't. But if you hear and you watch and you understand, this is life or death. So if I'm in a life or death battle, right, with me, you ain't competing with no you focus on you, right? Don't come out that energy and go respond to nothing about your past. Unless it's something that's encouraging you or strengthening you, or you're reflecting on it to get up off of it, gain some energy from it, look at it, maybe going in your past life regression, healing your trauma. If it ain't that kind of energy, right? If it's somebody that's trying to bring a narrative that they designed from your past to the future you, don't even respond to it. Just keep moving. All right, so I got some more, but I'm gonna take a little praise break. So if you here, right, and you can dance, or you outside or somewhere, kick your shoes off. I be playing. Y'all ancestors be sitting with me when I go in. When you hear that bell, right there, that's the one they like. All right, tribe, let's get back to it. Okay. Mm-mm. Okay, so I have okay, so I have and this is specific. And this is for my people who really tapped into spirit and you on your journey. So this may not resonate with everyone. They are calling you the devil simply because they use all their energy and force to send baneful energy your way, and it didn't work. And that's common, y'all. Like, it's people in your life, right? For those of y'all that resonate with this download, they sent all kind of energies at you. Now, I'm not feeling like you did anything back. Maybe you just a person, you have a strong faith. Maybe you did protect yourself. You got a right to if you did. But what I'm feeling with the energy is just a person who is a real star seed. Like you're a chosen one. God really put the mark on you. So people, they threw all kind of energies your way. And when it didn't work, they began to accuse you of being what they sent. You the devil because they sent devil's energy and it didn't work. And that's so common. And see, when you're dealing with them kind of energies, please don't look at the universe and ask God, why things are unfair, or why is it like that. Just know that's just the way that it is, right? It's the design of the universe. That's all. Like evil always has a way of pretending like they winning, like it's winning. And in your case, it's like it didn't work against you. So now the next thing to do is create a narrative that you the devil, or you some type of person that's doing something to them. Even in this energy, I feel like when people suffer from backfires or from shit that they done, it's real common to blame the one that made it out unscathed, like, right? And what they try to do is they try to put survivor's guilt on your energy. That's common too. Like, you ever had somebody that did you dirty? You lick your wounds, you go about your business, you heal. All of a sudden, universe level things out and they call you back, right? And it's like one of those things where it's a temptation of the demonic, because if you done me dirty and I moved on and you call me, right? Don't call me and make me feel like I should be there for you, or don't call me and make me feel like I should feel a certain type of way because you now dealing with the energy that you sent me is now resting on you, and charge me with being the devil like many of you. But then they'll call you though, right? Because you know why they call you? Because spiritually they know. See, when people know who you are spiritually, they might play bent in the natural, like done you dirty, stole from you, robbed from you, put your name through obscurity. But when that spirit hit, they gonna call you, because they gonna want help now. Because in their spirit, they already know a lot of people that's connected to this download. Trust me, even the people who you look at on high, they been saw something in you early. And you know what the spirit that they driven by told them to do? Suppress it in you by any means necessary. You know, if you was a part of a religious body, maybe it was an agreement that you just wasn't good enough to hold any type of title, or any type of thing. If it was a peer group, you was just always the one out the loop. Different little idiosyncratic things. They be spirit driven. And they the things that make they impact us greatly, because these are the things that make us feel inadequate, or they did at one time. All of these little spiritual things that people done, they amount to the inadequacy. It's like, damn, am I good enough? Damn, is it me? Right? That's the energy. But it's spiritual, right? So just know, because you chose to open up and see what's really going on, you the devil now. So you got to deal with that, right? And I'm not gonna lie, like, I deal with it myself. And even in dealing with that, y'all, the best way to deal with when these energies is against you is honestly just to ground yourself. Expect that shit and ground yourself. Like, know it's coming. Like, I've learned to expect nothing different. When I see shit arise, I'm not surprised by it. Spiritually, naturally, none of that. I'm not surprised by it no more, because I figure it's all a part of my course. That's the way I see it now. I look at it like, this is a part of my course. Right, wrong, or indifferent. And I had a particular download, and I'm going to say this one. And this is for somebody. And please, if this doesn't resonate, don't hesitate to leave this channel, because, you know, for right now, whatever, because these they specific. Voodoo magic could be at work in your life. Your inability to let go of outdated belief systems and religious indoctrination is rendering you powerless to gain strength against the enemy. Because you won't admit that it is really happening, you're a star seed being defeated by lower energies, demons, that have already been defeated, and that you have a God-given right to command. That was deep. Now, this is for somebody who is affected by voodoo black magic. Somebody you know maybe done this shit. I don't know. Could be in your childhood. But I'm just giving you the download. So if you feel this is you, you've been affected by it. All right, now you're in a place where maybe this is specific. You go to church, or you go to the masjid, or you go to your religion, and you wondering why I'm still suffering from black magic. Well, the first way to continue suffering from black magic attacks is to deny that the shit is happening. If you in denial, it's going to work against you like a charm, right? Because see, voodoo practitioners that study dark magic, they study different ways to attack the chakra energy of a human. One of the most common ways that they get in is when a person is ignorant to spiritual law. Meaning, they'll, you know, voodoo occultists, this is spirit giving me this. You can go to church and deem yourself faithful. They will target you. They will target you quicker than they will target another one. And the spell work will hit you faster. You know why they hit you faster? Because your religion is binding you to the spirit realm already. You already have a spiritual identity, okay? But you ignorant of spiritual law, because religion doesn't teach us the depth of spiritual law, right? We learn spiritual law from the King James Version of the Holy Bible. They learn spiritual law from the King James Version of the Book of Demonology. Do you hear what I just said? Listen to me. We go to church and we believe, but we not taught spiritual law. Why? Because we received the interpretation of the Bible from another person, the King James Version. They studied the King James Version of the Book of Demonology. You see the duality? So who you think is going to be more adept at spiritual law? Them, not you. Yeah, your faith is good. That will always provide you with grace and mercy. It's a promise from God. But they attacking you with God's greatest promise. Love one, beloved, right? I feel like the old heads, beloved. They attacking you with your ignorance. You want me to tell you how? When a person put a magic spell on you and you go to God and you say, God, first of all, this before you admit that it's happening. See, you still in denial about the magic shit even happening, right? So you going to God and you saying, God, bless me, please. Things are hard. Dear Lord, rebuke the devil off of me. Please, dear Lord. And perhaps it works. But then you right back contending with the devil. Why can't you rebuke the devil all the way out? Why? Why you don't go? Because you ignorant of spiritual law. A lot of us are. We are. Now I'm going to tell you how this works. For my people of faith that go under voodoo black magic attack, right? And wonder why you got the Holy Ghost, but you can't fight back the magic attack. Why is this happening? Why don't God step in? Why? Why? Why do God even allow occultists to attack whole churches? Why doesn't God step in? Why? Because he promised not to. He did. It's right there in the Bible, y'all. Spiritual law. You know what he did? He gave man free will. That's what people attack you with. They free will. They got a right by God to attack you if they choose to. God said he would not take their free will. So they can attack you with their free will, right? Now, so you saying to yourself, what do I do? That sounds like something that is crazy right there. God not going to step in. He doesn't have to. He may not. Because that person is using their free will. And God put a law that says every man has it. So if that man want to take his free will and go consult with low vibrational energies in the spirit realm and send them to attack you spiritually, yep, you bound by that person free will. Now what do? Use your own free will. What am I saying? When you praying to God to move something that he gave you the power to move, that's the result you get. It's like a big old ultimate test for you who dealing with the issue of voodoo black magic. It's on you to move. When you go pray, instead of praying for God to do these things, pray for the strength, right? First, pray against the entities that's attacking you. Because as long as you don't pray against them, they're going to continue to attack you. It's like you praying to God, but you being backdoored because you bound by spiritual law and don't even know it. I watch people be in church for 20 years, bound by the same demons, because the demon's going to attack anybody that's connected to a spirit, anything that's connected to spirituality, religion, any of that. Demons attack those people fervently first. Before they attack an atheist, they're going to attack a believer. All right, so first be willing to admit that you've been spiritually attacked by voodoo black magic, right? Begin to study to a certain degree. Pray. Fortify yourself. Use the weapons God gave you, your mind, right? Allow your ancestors to fight with you, to help you understand what's going on, instead of praying a prayer that's amiss. Because trust me, y'all, the baneful wicked ones, they know the ways of the spirit. They know how to get to you with laws. And we be bound. We be bound and gagged spiritually, and be wondering why God don't step in. He gave us free will, y'all. He promised he wouldn't. Not in those type of matters. Now, it's like, you know, God, grace and mercy, it follows the believer. So that's part of the reason why you here right now. It's due to the grace and mercy of the Most High. But the Most High put laws in place, y'all. He tell us throughout all the books. And you guys sift through them to understand them. The same laws that's in the King James Version of the Bible is the same laws that's in the Book of Demonology. Somebody say, ooh, the Book of Demonology. See, that's why the Bible say, you know what? My people perish due to lack of knowledge. How many people even knew that the King James had a breakdown on the Book of Demonology? Or did you ever think about going to the library, maybe sift through it? Believer. I'm talking to a believer. Because if that makes you say, oh, that's demonic, and you're not a real believer. You can't be. You're not suitable for warfare. If you get this information and you claim to be a believer and you don't go act on the information, you're not a suitable warrior spiritually. Because this is why God is waking us up around the planet, so that we can share knowledge, so that we can build, so that we can act on what we learn. You could be a valuable source of information if you wake up. For my people that's under these attacks, right? Voodoo black magic. I just almost went in my shaman, y'all. Tongues almost came out my mouth. Let me explain something to you, okay? First of all, when you manifest a higher aspect, right? Because maybe you have a relationship with different energies as well. I'm getting all pantheon, Slavic pantheon, Egyptian, African, Orisha, Lua, all of them, right? So people, you may have a relationship with them, but let's say people attack you with the same kind of energy. What do? You have to manifest the highest version of the deities that you have a relationship with. You want to manifest the highest aspect of them, not the lower vibrational aspects. This breeds you protection. That's like if for instance, I'm gonna break it down and make it layman's terms. I'm gonna put it in a certain way so somebody can get it. Let's say somebody attacked me and they work with the energy of Ochoisi, right? Let's just say somebody with the arrow, right? Let's say they attack me spiritually with Ochoisi in a baneful way, right? They get the energy to move. Well, say I'm working with Ochoisi and I'm manifesting a higher aspect of that deity in my life. I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm focused. I'm keeping my altar clean. I'm doing everything. Who you think gonna win in that spiritual battle? The person that manifests a true connection to source is gonna win. And in those battles in the spirit, be authentically yourself. Be true and authentically you. That right there is one of the major determining factors in getting the energy away from you. You understand? I'm trying to explain to you. When voodoo black magic is sent at you, right? These particular energies, in the spirit realm, this is how it looks. They'll always be right there, right? Because it takes a great authority to move something that's sent. So while they're there, they may create cycles that you go through, right? Now, understand that any energy sent at you is a being. It's an energy. It's a being, right? So as a being and an energy, right, of some, whether it's divine being, metaphysical being, physical being, as a being, right, it's confined by spiritual laws. Doesn't matter, right? And it also has to abide under the rule of authority, spiritual authority, right? And I'm talking about energies that come by way of black magic, right? What preserves you is when you tap into a greater authority spiritually, right? Now, what is that going to do? That's going to keep them at bay, right? So basically, they'll be right here working because it's spell work, right? It can't touch you unless you fall out of alignment. Now you got to contend with it. But when you walk above it, right, you gain strength. So spirituality is levels. So what eventually happens as you starve the energy, as you starve the negativity, as you walk above the attack, you gain strength. You reach a level of spiritual authority that forces the energy to go, but it takes work. It doesn't just go right away. No energy sent at you by black magic, it doesn't just vanish. It takes you to work. You work, you receive upgrades, you receive level ups, you get a certain amount of authority, and it's just like in the Bible. Remember in the Bible when the man went to cast the demon out, and the man said, I don't know you. I know Paul and I know Jesus, but I don't know who you is. You don't got that authority to move me, right? You know why I said I know Paul? Because in the Bible it said Paul did the work. It knew Jesus because it said Jesus had did the work. So like you, if you doing the work, right, you'll work and you'll get to a level where you'll reach an authority where you can tell the energy, all right, you got to go. You got to move, right? And during this cycle, the people, thank you, Spirit. Now, Spirit is giving me a depth of insight. Now, when people throw bangful magic at you and you going through your cycle, because like I said, they sent the energy, so the energy got to come, right? It's about how you conduct yourself when the energy reaches you. Because some of y'all, right, some people, the demons that sit down with you and favor you. I mean, it's many different things that can happen, right? But nevertheless, as you dealing with it and you moving up through your levels, when you get to a place where you reach the authority to send it back, that's when backfires happen. Once you reach that level, because the energy is voodoo black magic energies are persistent, y'all. Especially when they sent, like the Kung Fu energy, like, you know, some of the spirits from the Getty, they are persistent, right? They be misappropriated souls. Some of them trapped on this plane, willing to do destructive chaos in the spirit, right? They very much like to get in bloodlines. Thank you, Spirit. And this is the danger in sending black magic. I'm gonna tell you something, y'all. We building. As you fortify yourself when somebody sends magic at you, right? Let's just say Ikile magic, right? That's death magic, African death magic, Ikile, right? Archangel Michael. Let's just say somebody sends something like that at you. That's a nasty energy, right? Now, if you manage to walk above it, alchemize it, transmute it, and gain the authority to send it back, when it goes back, it's going to go back with a vengeance. Because those kind of energies, when they go back, they going back for the bloodline. They see when a person send it at you, it's aimed at you. Doesn't necessarily have a right to affect your bloodline. That's spiritual law. See, if you got a divine star seed and somebody throw magic at you, it's not necessarily going to hit your child, right? But if you send magic to somebody and they send it back, it's most certainly coming for your bloodline. That's why a lot of us walk with generational curses now, because some of our ancestors went in the dark and they misappropriated magic and sent it the wrong way, and it got sent back. And now here we is suffering with alcoholism, sex addictions, you name it. We got it, right? Generational curse stuff. So that's just a little bit about black magic and how it worked and how to walk. And I know they don't want me to, you know, I feel the energy of people now wanting me to speak about this, right? Because we live in a world where people seek to take their advantage using these using this level of knowledge, because it's what it is knowledge, y'all, right? Occultic. You know what that word means? It means hidden knowledge. Occultic. It means hidden knowledge. Hidden from everyone. That's the reason why, all right, Spirit say go back a little bit. That's the number one reason when I started. The reason why we suffer from this shit is because we don't believe it's happening, because it's above our knowledge set. You go to the preacher and you tell a preacher, I'm under attack by black magic. He gonna tell you, let me lay my hands on you. In the name of Jesus, let me move this energy. And it might move right there, because those demons gonna fall obedient to the name of Jesus, because God put power in that name. Same way as Allah. God put power in these names. So don't be disillusioned when you go in religious places and you feel free. It's because the man who praying for you could be a demon himself, but if he say that name, demon's gonna obey. So you feel free. You know, you shake off and you start on Monday. You leave Sunday out of church and you determine to walk holy. But Monday, you bound again. Why? Because it never went nowhere. You never really got the authority to send it, because the only one that can really send it is you. You had to have a relationship with the Most High. The preacher man can't send the demon out your life. How does that make sense? Ask yourself. How can a preacher send a demon out of your life for good? How? In the Bible, it says a man was freed of a demon, and that demon went and got 7 more and came back and took back over that residency and that man. These people that was being freed, even Mary, thank you, Spirit, look in the Bible. When Jesus freed Mary, you know what happened? Mary went right back out and was affected by the demonic a short time later. Mary actually struggled her whole walk with being affected by the demonic. Did y'all know that? Because why? Mary had to free herself. Jesus couldn't free Mary from the demon that she had a masculine demon that affected her. Peep the Bible. Read the literatures. It's time to study, right? So we talking about the energy of black magic, and you know how it affects us, and why we so affected by it, and why we are so ignorant to it, right? Occultic rhythms altogether. That's one thing about it. If you plugged into this channel, you're gonna get the download from me. Esoteric and occultic knowledge, you're gonna get it. You want me to tell you why? Because I personally am a voice of source, and I resonate in occultic knowledge. You're gonna get it. You want me to tell you why? Because I personally am a voice of source, and I resonate on a frequency, and in this frequency that I'm on, it's the anger of God. The passion that you hear, it's the anger of the Most High at people being cattle by occultic rhythms. Treated like cattle. Like, the world has become a slaughterhouse of souls, y'all, all the way down to our children. You know, I was speaking to Niece the other day. She was telling me about a video that she saw where they were actually walking past a table eating flesh off live children. That's occultic rhythms. God is tired of it. The angels is coming, y'all. Like, I'm trying to tell somebody. Like, you know, you read the Bible, you read Dr. Malachi Z. Yorkley, Issa Manisa, and he said that the sky gonna crack open and the angels gonna walk out the sky. And the Bible speaks about the battle of Armageddon, where beings walk out the sky. I believe the Quran speaks about the day of Yom Kiyama, where all these soulless things. Listen, y'all, you had to resonate with this. The angels is coming. Like, you think that God meant for us to be cattle and like we are? I mean, people just summon spirits and let them run free, and they just running around the world doing all type of destruction right now. People just summon spirits and let them run free, and they just running around the world doing all type of destruction right now. These big energies. See, if y'all, I'ma learn you. Thank you, Spirit. Book of Revelations, I believe, 4:26. Don't quote me on that. But in the 4th chapter of Revelations, you know it speaks about an advent that just happened, and the church didn't speak about it. So Spirit said, talk about it. It says in that verse where when the river Euphrates dries up, it's going to unleash demons that were bound. One of them being the Leviathan, right? See, the Bible speaks about in the books of the apocryphal literature, like, you know, some of the books of Tobit, Jasher. When you look at these information, it speaks about Michael binding up energies like Leviathan under the river Euphrates, right? And I believe Lilith, right? Bound. But the Bible says when the river Euphrates dries up, these energies will be free from their prison. 2 years ago, y'all, the river Euphrates dried up. And you know what they did? When the river Euphrates dried up, the villagers that live close to the river, they said they could hear screams coming from dungeons that was below the river. You know what else they found? When the river Euphrates dried up, they found the tomb of Gilgamesh. Remember the one that they said was a fairy tale? They found his tomb. He was a Nephilim. They found his tomb when the river Euphrates dried up 2 years ago. But they put borders around it, and they wouldn't let nobody go in there. Also, they uncovered world sigils. You know what a world sigil is? It's a sigil that was made by possibly the Anunnaki or one of those super races, and it was put in the earth and covered up until the appropriate time. What was the appropriate time? Why is all this happening? The Aquarius era. See, we was in the Pisces era. These energies couldn't move. Why you think the magic is so hard and the summonses is so? Because these energies, they free. Do you know what it's like when a demonic energy of major authority, a spiritual principality, when it's bound in the spirit, the movement is minimal. So somebody could conjure it. But you know why everybody ascending into darkness and feeling dark magic? Because the river Euphrates dried up. These energies was predicted to be released. The Leviathan, all of these kind of energies, Asmodeus, right? All of these energies, they've been released from prison. So now they got like free reign in the universe. Why you think God giving the ascension? Why you think Source giving people like us the ascension? Why you think we can see now? Why you think the reader's picking up the card? That's the 144,000 energy. You know what the 144,000 is? You got to read 3 books to break it down. You got Proverbs, Numbers, and then you got Revelations. The 144,000 is the initial 144,000. They were those of us that were awakened at the time, known as tribulation, which is happening. Spiritual chaos, right? It says that the 144,000, they're going to arise out the tribulation. Arising with a knowledge, right? But the 144,000 is not a number of determined people. You got to realize the 144,000 are descendants from the 12 tribes of Israel, right? Now, when you're talking about descendants of Jacob, normally a name meant a whole tribe. Like the Levite of Korah, that's a tribe. The tribe of Asher, that's a tribe. Dan, that's a tribe. The individual, Judah, that's a man, but it's a tribe. The 144,000 was assimilated to the people that's going to raise the collective vibration. It's not the amount of people that's going to be, people be like, you got to be in 144,000. No, you should be adhering to what the 144,000 is saying. They the messengers, the seers. And then the book of Revelation, it speaks about the ascension of the 144,000, where they walk into heaven with the marks on their forehead now. They have ethereal bodies in the book of Revelation. You got to look at it, right, and know where you fit in. This is energy, y'all. The 144,000 ain't about running around thinking you chosen and you just, it's only 144,000. Don't let the devil trick you. 144,000, that's the remnant. That's the vibration. They the ones, you think that God meant he was only going to save 144,000 people out of all of the people that's you know, of all the seeds of humanity, from all 12 tribes, he was only going, no, the 144,000 as a frequency. Those people, they represent collective humanity. This is collective. You see, you got to start reading the Bible and thinking about in body. Think about in spirit. It's an allegorical book. 144,000 is referring to a soul aspect. See, when they woke up, right, you can consider yourself one. Everybody that wake up, you should consider yourself a part of the 144,000 because you engage in that frequency. Yeah, it was the initial ones that woke up, and then they was to wake up the planet. That's your 144,000. That's the demonstration right there. So it's a collective mindset, y'all. Like, it's not about a me. It's about us. It got to be. It has to be about us. When you fall into the me, you fall right in the devil's energy. You're going to be useless. And not only that, spiritually, I consider myself a spiritual warrior, right? How do you get or catch a Leviathan spirit? Well, I know occultic rhythms, they summons these type of spirits, right? And actually they can use a person to host it. You know, they can use, a lot of times in certain occultic circles, they use the womb of young women to host these spirits and transfer them. So they would take a woman and they would do a decadent kind of ceremony, right? Normally they'd use mind-altering substances at these engagements that they have, because they want the human mind to be able to process what's happening, right? So that's how the Leviathan gets embodied, right? And when you work with those kind of energies, people become super psychic, intuitive. They essentially become, in a way, ethereal, because that's a higher form of an entity. Well, spiritually, of course, you know, but it can actually cause people to attack you if a person is carrying a spirit like the Leviathan, anger. I believe Asmodeus might be wrath. It's either lust, wrath, one of those, you know, one of those that he majors in, that he's a major in, low vibrational energy. So he'll attack you with that. Oh, that's wild. Yeah, so you might want to go back and check the live. We were just speaking about ways to defend yourself against these type of things, right? And you definitely want to establish a relationship with the Most High and be willing to if you don't acknowledge that these things happen, you're gonna suffer. Like, you can't be in war with something that you don't believe is there. Like, gotta be willing to look at it, open up your third eye and see what's going on. And I'm glad that people are really starting to even know the names of these energies, you know? Because it was a one time we didn't even know the names of these energies. And because I've been talking about these energies, I want to run through some I was trying to find something real quick. Hold on. There was some information that I wanted to give, if I can find it. I got so many notes. I had notes everywhere, like. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to find it and get back to y'all with it. But what it was I was just gonna give y'all a quick rundown of the 7 major archangels. And how you can work with them too. They might actually be in my other book, y'all. I'm pretty sure they are. Oh, I got them. I got them. Okay. All right, so these are the 7 archangel energies. We just gonna walk through them because we've been talking about a lot of demons, and we've been talking about. So we're gonna bring the Shem Hammurath energy through, right? Shem angels. All right, so we got Michael, who's the chief. Archangel Michael, defender of children of God, sword of Israel, judgment, birthright, energy, opposite of the energy of Shaitan, Satan, right? So Archangel Michael is an energy that's very good to pray to. The Most High is good, but we talking about technical warfare. It's not no but. We talking about strengthened prayers, right? Moving with Archangel Michael is good when you got spell work on your ass, right? It's good to move with Archangel Michael, again, when you got spell work on your ass. So when you step into your purpose, divine star seeds, Archangel Michael is the defender of the children of the Most High, right? Then we got Gabriel, okay? Gabriel, second in command, horn of righteousness, announces the will of the Most High. Revelation leads to Gabriel, the faith to connect what you say, speak things that be not as though they were. Gabriel energy. So Gabriel represents the horn of the divine. So that's like that could be considered Vishuddha energy, Vishuddha, throat chakra energy, right? When you moving with Gabriel, you have a tendency to speak strong and speak powerful, particularly against evil, right? Gabriel is the horn of the divine. That's his weapon. He blows the trumpet. Also, when Gabriel blows the trumpet in the universe, it's the ending and the beginning of cycles. I read that somewhere. Like, in the spirit realm, this is like, let's say the Pisces era ended and we in the age of Aquarius. Well, in the spirit realm, Gabriel would have blew the horn to announce that, according to the Shem order, right? We dealing with the energies that fight the demons, y'all. Yeah. Okay. Next up, we have Raphael or Raguel. Carries the message. Defender of the sleep state. The divine, a surrender and serenity. Also, the energy I had something about when Jesus wept, but I'm really not, I didn't write it good, so I don't want to try to break into it. But nevertheless, Raphael, defender of your sleep state. So Raguel, when you going through your sleep wars, during some of our sessions, I tell people what worked for me. I got a dream catcher and I drew a sigil I drew the sigil of Raphael, Raguel, same thing. I drew the sigil of Raguel, and I anointed my dream catcher with the oil of the olive because I was dealing with intense astral wars. I had some powerful witches. They were stepping in my sleep, and it was crazy, right? I really needed help. So I began to defend myself, and I worked close with Raguel. And what happened, what he did, and I'm going to just tell you because this is real. The ones that was breaking into my sleep state, when they got caught, because everything is as above, so below. So spiritual offenders, they may get away with it for a little bit of time. It's kind of like the energy of the book of Enoch when men ask God, why are you letting the giants just run around and destroy the world like that? Why didn't you intervene? And God's answer was because man didn't pray. They didn't send the right prayer up, right? So when you're dealing with the energy of Raguel, he'll come into your sleep state and defend. What he did with mine was, they came in, and once they got caught, see, they was ducking around in the spirit, doing little things, cloaking their energy, showing up in my dream as other people. So by me not really being able to know who it was, I can't, I can't really do much spiritually because that's the way a baneful witch operate. I'm talking about mental witches that travel in your mind, right? So once I realized what was going on, and I realized, well, this, and instead of me looking at this person as being guilty, let me know that this is a spirit that they're using. I put Raguel on it. The ones who attacked me, they became physically sick. That's how I knew who was doing it, because they got sick. I got the word from my ancestors, right? It was like, I felt it like when I woke up, the morning that the sickness hit them, I felt like a chill. You know how when you get in the cold, you feel like a chill in your body just, ooh. But I knew it wasn't my energy. So I'm like, I'm feeling pretty good. In fact, I shook it off, drunk a little tea, went outside to the garden. Then I got the word that they were sick going through it. So just know, when you work with the energy of Raguel, he is an energy that works good around surrender. You surrender to the Most High. You be aware of what's going on. And you call on Shem Angel Raguel. You get a sigil, right? Make one. That's what I did, And when you be amazed at what's in your Akashic records, right? All right, next up, Uriel. Uriel is the wisdom of God, the light of the divine. Uriel, crown chakra energy, higher form of consciousness. Uriel also gave men alchemical knowledge, right? So Uriel, Uriel is an energy where you just want to stay connected to God when you're dealing with even the archangel, Shem energy. You want to stay connected to God, because this angel also gave alchemical knowledge to mankind. So it's like, how in the book of Genesis, it says you had the tree of knowledge and the tree of life. Well, remember when it says they ate from the tree of knowledge and they was forbidden to eat from the tree of life? Well, that was the exchange with Uriel right there. Uriel was basically giving men knowledge that they wasn't supposed to have. But nevertheless, Uriel is the wisdom of the divine and bears the light of God. So like, when you tapping into a higher form of conscious, that could be another energy to work with. Uriel, get yourself a sigil. I suggest you work with these as opposed to working with dark energies and demonic energies, right? Then we got Salathiel. Salathiel energy is rooted deep in the subconscious mind, a defender also of the astral realm dream state, relation to music and banishing evil. Salathiel. So Salathiel is very deeply in the intuitions of us, like, righteous intuitions, like your subconscious state when you sleep. It's like being in alignment with the Most High, you kind of invoke these energies, so you got a right to work with them. So let's just say, like, you know, you going to sleep, you having dreams, and you can't remember them. Your subconscious is scrambled. It's getting harder for you to connect the dots. Well, Salathiel could be an energy that you work with, right? Very good at banishing evil, and again, another sleep state defender. Okay, then you got Jagudio. Jagudio, birthright energy, stands for Jagudio. Jagudio, birthright energy, stands for the deliverer of the mercies of God. Galatians speaks about him. Prostration and gratitude, right, is the way that we welcome Jagudio in. So Jagudio brings the mercy of God, the Most High. He carried the energy of mercy, right? So that's you know how you wake up in the morning and you ask God for mercy? Well, you could wake up, ask God for mercy, and you could speak the Jagudio, right? You could draw a sigil, right? He delivers the mercy of the Most High. Prostration and gratitude, a good way to connect with that energy. Now you got Barakael, right? Barakiel, right? I hope I'm getting these names right. But Barakael, this is another powerful energy. Not as powerful as Michael, but Barakael commands 400,960 energies of heaven. When you feel lost, there's an angelic energy available. Pray to Barakael. So Barakael is like the retriever of those who go astray. Like when you lost, he commands sudden energies. 400,960 energies of heaven is at his disposal. So like when you off and you in one of them tight places, you know you down bad, Barakael, B-A-R-A-C-H-I-E-L. Barakael, right? And like I said, his energy is real familiar. You know, in the Bible where it says, yea, though I was far off, I was drawn nigh by the blood, right? Meaning you was far off your way, but it was something that brought you back, right? Now we talking spiritual. So Barakael is a good Shem energy to work with, get a sigil when you're struggling with being in tough places or you keep finding yourself dark places where you don't want to be. Just know that God has an energy that's available, right? Then we have Jeremiah, right? Underworld energy, associated with Malik, right? Sur El Zukarah 4377, chief of the angels of hell, right? Jeremiah. So Jeremiah was like a Eudaemon, right? Meaning there's an energy, is a heavenly angel, but it guards, like it's in relation to Malik, and I believe Malik is Arabic, I believe, but nevertheless, it is also like kind of similar to some of the darker righteous energies. You know how the Bible says, when the kingdom suffer violence, the righteous wax violent and take it by force. Well, that would be kind of like the energy of Jeremiah. Is a very militant energy. Could appear to be dark, but it's a heavenly energy. It's a Shem energy. All right. So I'm gonna play a little bit before I rock out, y'all. It was nice being with y'all. Get a little tune going, and we'll see y'all tonight, 12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.